Hello, friends. I've been practicing Buddhist meditation for the last 30 years. Whatever I have practiced, whatever I have learned, whatever I understood regarding this Buddhist meditations, I want to share with you. The reason for this is that I have taken so much pain, so much time to understand the teaching of the Buddha. Almost 30 years I have practiced different meditation techniques, learned different scriptures, and whatever I learned for this 30 years I want to share with you all, so that you need not to take that much pain and difficulties to understand the Dhamma. Whatever I am going to tell, you need not to accept, because you know your meditation, you know about the Buddha Dhamma, and you have your own intellect. Based on that, try to understand what I want to say, and you can also correct me if there is any mistake. I don't say that whatever I learned, whatever I understood is correct. I am just putting whatever I learned in front of you so that you can decide whether it is correct or wrong. And if it is wrong, then you can correct me. And if it is right, then you can tell your opinion regarding this video. If you find any shortcoming, then also you can tell me where I went wrong. The problem is that the Buddha lived 2500 years before, and after that, his teaching slowly corrupted. When people stopped practicing it, then slowly the corruption came, and now it is very difficult to find the true teaching. So I started my meditation journey almost 30 years before, and whatever I learned wholeheartedly, I started practicing that without questioning, without doubting anything. I just practiced it just like that for almost 3 or 4 years. And after that, little bit doubt started coming in my mind, because in many suttas the Buddha says that we will get nibbana or enlightenment from 7 days to 7 years. So doubt arose me why I am not getting any progress in my practice. You might say that you have got lot of progress after practicing Buddhist meditation, but we have to think one thing. There are many spiritual teachers. For example, Brahma Kumaris are there in India. So all the followers of them, they say that we have got lot of progress in this practice. Art of living is there in India. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is teaching. And so many people in that community, they say that they have got lot of benefit. Jaggi Vasudev is there, and his inner engineering is a very big success among the educated people. And all those people say that they have got immense benefit out of the practice. Any person practicing in any religious practice, they will say that they have got a lot of benefit out of that practice. I am not talking about that benefit. I am talking about enlightenment, pure enlightenment, where you lose all the clinging with the five upadana khanda or aggregates, or you don't have any clinging with five ayatanas or five sense doors. Whatever happens there, whether the pleasant things or unpleasant things, you are not moved out of that. You don't get agitated because of that. That is the aim of our practice. So after 4 or 5 years, I started questioning the teachers as well as my colleagues regarding why there is no such progress. Whatever I was practicing, I was supposed to get a lot of benefit, but after practicing this much also, I didn't get any benefit. What was the reason? Where I went wrong? What was the problem with my practice? So I started asking these people, but no one could give me a satisfactory answer. So it went on like that for 20 years. I didn't look forward for any other teaching except the teaching I learned from a teacher. After 20 years, I thought that it is high time that I should think about the practice, because the practice I am practicing was not giving much result to me. I have seen others also, even the teachers, those who are practicing, there is not much change in them. Then I thought that I need to research about it. Then I started watching YouTube videos, and I started reading other books. and wanted to learn all other traditions in the world. So I kept on studying, but again my doubt increased because one teacher tells something and the another teacher tell quite opposite to that. And I tried to practice whatever I was being taught by those people, but still my mind was not satisfied. There was some problem, something I was missing. Actually, what I was missing, I was not able to understand. After going through many books, watching the videos of many monks, my confusion became even stronger because everyone was contradicting others. And moreover, after practicing long time also didn't get any benefit. So I was disillusioned with all the traditional teaching. Then I thought that the real teaching might be in the Tipitak, that is the teaching of the Buddha. Maybe something is hiding in that book. People are not able to understand what it was there. So I should myself try to study whatever is in the Tipitak. Then I started studying the Tipitak. Vinay Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka, all these things I went through. After going through all this Tipitak, I became even more confused because in one place Buddha says that if you follow the four noble truths, you will become arhat, you will become enlightened. Other places Buddha says that if you follow the eightfold path, then you will become arhat. Somewhere he tells that if you just practice anapana, you will become arhat. Then he says that practice four satipatthana, you will become arhat. Then he says that practice seven enlightenment factors, then you will be arhat. Then he says that practice seven jhana or eight jhana, you will be arhat. Then he says that for Brahma Vihara you practice, you will become arhat. Then he says that you follow five khanda, five aggregates, then you will be arhat. Then he says that you try to understand the six sense doors, then you will be able to arhat. So total 84,000 teaching and many other teaching also. There are so many ways to become arhat or get liberations. So the Buddha might have seen something. The Buddha might have understood even something shorter. By understanding that, we can understand everything. So what is that short teaching that I wanted to understand? So I want to make all this teaching very short. So I started making notes. Sutta Pitaka, Dika Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttar Nikaya. All those things I started studying and I made smaller notes. Even tried Abhidhamma and made smaller notes. But after repeatedly studying also, I didn't get what exactly the Buddha wanted to say. Then I decided that for almost 40 days, I'll keep silence. Then I'll read Samyutta Nikaya daily. Then I'll reflect on whatever I have read. So like that I have thought. Suddenly, something clicked in my mind. After reading Samyutta Nikaya, after reflecting, something clicked in my mind. And those things no one told me very clearly. People are teaching either anapana or they might be teaching some mindfulness meditation or satipatthana or something. But no one taught me these things. Though I repeatedly read the Abhidhamma for many years, it didn't click in my mind. But suddenly it all started clicking in my mind what the Buddha wanted to tell. That I am going to share with you. You have to decide yourself whether it is right or wrong. I am not going to tell whether it is right or wrong. It is up to you to consider whether it is right or wrong. What I understood was the sensual desire is the problem. The desire and lust for the sensual pleasures is the problem. Once you come out of that sensual pleasures, the craving for that sensual pleasures, then you are into the path. That is what I understood. How I understood, I am going to tell it in detail. Everyone teaches that we have to come out of craving, aversion, and ignorance. Everyone was trying to understand the impermanence nature, the changing nature, the suffering nature, the non self nature of this craving, aversion, and ignorance. But still, people are not out of that problem. I understood one thing, that merely cutting off craving, you will cut off everything. Need not to cut off aversion or ignorance, it will be automatically eliminated. That is my finding. So, to understand the essence of all these 84,000 suttas, let us first go to the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, that is Samyutta Nikaya 56.11. You can search it in Google and you'll get it. After the Buddha became enlightened, this is the first advice he gave to his 5 disciples at Sarnath. So, in this sutta, he advised his disciple not to indulge in sensual pleasures or don't torture your body for spiritual practice. You try to find out the middle way and practice. That is what he told. What is that middle path? It is the eightfold noble path: right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right immersion. The Buddha said that this eightfold noble path will give you liberation. Now, to understand the 4 noble truths, we need to practice this eightfold noble path. So, what is this 4 noble truth? The first noble truth is that there is suffering. So, what is suffering? Rebirth is suffering, old age is suffering, illness, death, association with disliked things, separation with liked things, don't get what you want, that is the suffering. In short, the 5 grasping aggregate is suffering. What is this 5 grasping aggregate? It is form, perception, feeling, formation, and consciousness. So once we cling to all this 5 aggregate, then it is a suffering. Now, what is the origin of suffering? It is very interesting thing. It is that craving that leads to future lives, mixed up with relishing and greed, taking pleasure wherever it lands. Yayam tanaha punabhaviga nandi raga sahagata tatra tatra abhinandini. That is a Pali word. That means that is the craving that give repeated birth, and it is mixed with nandi raga. See this word, it is very important word. Nandi means relishing, raga means greed. So it is mixed with relishing and greed, taking pleasure here and there wherever it lands. Tatta tatra abhinandini. So let us analyze this word. It is very important to analyze this word. Though I have read it many times, for many years, the meaning didn't came to me. But after analyzing closely, the meaning came to me. That is why I am giving very importance to the word. Here it says that Nandi Raga Sahagata. That means there is relishing as well as greed. The relishing and greed will not be for painful things. It will be always for pleasant things. That is why the word relishing and greed is used. It is always for pleasant things. Pali word is Nandi Raga, relishing and greed. And the next one is Tatra Tatra Abhinandini. That means it taking pleasure wherever it lands. We take pleasures only in pleasant things, not in the painful things. That means the starting of craving is the raga or the lust or relishing. That is the starting of this craving. So again it says that there are 3 type of craving: kamatanaha, bhavatanaha, vibhavatanaha. Kamatanaha means the craving for sensual pleasures. Bhavatanaha means the craving for birth. Vibhavatanaha means the craving for no birth. The next thing is that how to get out of this craving. That is the 3rd noble truth, the truth of cessation of suffering. Yo tassayeva tanahaya asesa viraga nirodho chago padinasaggo mutti analayo. That means it is the fading away and cessation of the very same craving with nothing left over, giving it away, letting it go, releasing it, and not clinging to it. That means whatever that relishing and desire was there, we have to let it go. So in many countries, people say just let go, let go. So what they are asking to let go? We need to let go the craving as well as relishing for the sensual pleasures. That no one is telling. Just they say that let it go, they say. But we need to let go this Nandi Raga. That means relishing and greed we have to let go. So our problem is that this craving or tanaha. We have to let go of this tanaha. So we know the origin of Tanaha is Nandi Raga or relishing and greed for pleasant things. So this is the essence of all 84,000 teaching of the Buddha. We have to let go of that craving. Now to understand this craving, we need to go to Mahasatipatthana Sutta. Actually, there are two Satipatthana Sutta. One is Majjhima Nikaya 10. It is a shorter Satipatthana Sutta, but the one we are looking for is Mahasatipatthana Sutta, that is Digha Nikaya 22. So DN 22, if you search, you will get this Mahasatipatthana Sutta. So every one of you know about the Satipatthana. That means Kayanupasana, observing the body, Vedananupasana, observing the feeling, Chittanupasana, the observing the mind, and Dhammanupasana, the observing of mental contents. Now let us directly go to the Dhammanupasana. In the Dhammanupasana, many things are discussed. The first one is 5 hindrances, or you can say that our 5 enemies, or 5 nivarana. In the second thing, it is discussed about 5 khanda or 5 aggregates. Then it discusses about 6 sense field or 6 ayatana. Then it discusses about 7 enlightenment factors or awakening factors, bojjhanga. The next one is 4 noble truth. So let us try to see what is being told in this truth. There are 4 truths. This is suffering. This is the origin of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. This is the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. So these are the 4 noble truths. Now let us see one by one. So we already seen what is the truth of suffering. So rebirth is suffering, old age is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness and distress are suffering. Being coupled with the disliked is suffering, so and so. Now the most important thing is the origin of suffering. Samudaya Satcha. How the suffering is originated. Again here it says that Yayam Tanaha Punabhavika Nandi Raga Sahagata Tatra Tatra Vinandini Sayadidam Kama Tanaha Bhavatanaha Vibhavatanaha. That means it is the craving that leads to future life, mixed with relishing and greed, taking pleasure wherever it lands. You can see the words relishing, greed, taking pleasure. That means all this is talking about good things, that means pleasant things. Raga. The next question is, where does that craving arises and where does it settle? The answer is, Yam loge piya rupam sata rupam ettesa tanaha uppajjamana uppajjadi etta nivasamana nivasadi. That means whatever in the world seems nice and pleasant, that is where that craving arises and settles. Now, in the world it is arising and setting. The next question is, what in the world seems nice and pleasant? That is the next question. The answer is Chakkuloge Pirubam Satarubam Ettesa Tanaha Upachamana Upachadi Etta Nivasamana Nivasadi. The eye in the world seems nice and pleasant, and it is there that craving arises and settles. Now it is talking about 6 internal sense doors. Internal sense door means the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body as well as mind. These are the internal sense organs. So in the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body as well as mind, whatever seems nice and pleasant, that is there this craving arises and settles. That means in our 6 sense field we have to work and we have to see whatever arises there, it must be pleasant and very nice. Then we should understand here the craving arises. So the nice and pleasant thing we experience with our 6 internal sense field. Now there are 6 external sense field. For example, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, as well as ideas in the mind. So these are called 6 external sense field. Here also whatever is nice and pleasant, there the craving arises and where the craving settle. So here the Buddha is talking about 6 external senses. Then with this association of these internal and external senses, then there comes the consciousness, six type of consciousness: eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, as well as mind consciousness. So here also, in this world also, whatever seems nice and pleasant, there this craving arises and settle. So when there is internal sense organs as well as external sense subject, when both meet, then the corresponding consciousness arises, and when these three meet, we called it as contact. So there are six type of contact: eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. In Pali it is called samphasa. Then after contact there comes the feeling, six type of feeling born of eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. Chakku samphassaja vedana loge. So here in the six sense doors, we get feelings. Again, we have to see this feeling must be pleasant and nice. Then only this craving arises, not for painful feeling. We have to again see in the feeling, whatever we are feeling nice and pleasant, there this craving arises and settles. So always the craving arises in the pleasant feeling. That means raga. There the craving arises. Then again six perceptions are there: rupa sanya loge, for sound, smell, taste, touches, and ideas. Then intention, six intention: rupa sanchedana loge, sanchedana, sight, sound, smell, taste, touches, ideas, intention. So intention also same thing, whatever pleasant and nice, where their craving arises. Then six type of craving arises: rupa tanaha, saddhatanaha, gandhatanaha, rasatanaha, fodabba, yeah, touches, and idea of the mind. Then six type of thoughts arises: rupa vidako, saddha vidako. So like that, six type of vidarka or thoughts. There also whatever pleasant and nice, there the craving arises. Then next is consideration or vichara, rupa vichara, saddha vichara, like that, six type of vichara or considerations. And whatever pleasant and nice, there the craving arises. So we understood these are the places where this craving arises. Mainly six sense field, ayatana. And whatever corresponding happens in the mind, there this craving arises. But it must be always starting with nice and pleasant. So this is how the dukkha or the suffering originate. Now what is the cessation? Nirodha Satcha. So we have to work with this six sense doors. It is a fading away and cessation of that very same craving with nothing left over, giving it away, letting it go, releasing it, and not clinging to it. So what we need to let go? We have to let go of that same craving. So where we have to let go of that craving, whatever in the world seems nice and pleasant, it is there that craving is given up and ceases. So again, to let go of that craving, we need to work in the six sense doors. And whatever there nice and pleasant, there we have to let go of the craving. Piyarupam, Satarupam, nice and pleasant. And what in the world seems nice and pleasant? Again, the Buddha is repeating all the things that is talked about. Six internal sense organ, like that eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, as well as mind. Then six external sense object, like sound, form, odor, taste, touch, and dhamma of the mind. Then six vijnana or consciousness. Then six contact or phassa. Then six feelings or vedanas. Then six type of perception or sanya. Then six type of sanchedana or intention. Then six type of tanaha or craving. Then six type of vidaka or thoughts, or six type of vichara or considerations. So whatever there in the world seems nice and pleasant, it is there that craving is given up and cease. This is called the noble truth of cessation of suffering. So after reading all this thing, we understood one thing: to remove the craving, we need to work in the six sense organs. And in the sense organs, whatever is nice and pleasant, there we have to work, because there the craving starts, there the tanaha starts. So we need now to work with the three of the problems: raga, dvesha, and moha. Lust, aversion, as well as ignorance. We need now to work under the three. We need to only work with the lust or raga. Why we need to work with only raga or this lust or craving? Because the craving always start with this pleasant things, the raga, then the pleasant ceases, then automatically the dvesha will come or the aversion will come. Then both lust as well as aversion is there, then the ignorance will be there, the moha will be there. So by studying both Dhammacakka Pautana Sutta as well as Satipatthana Sutta, we understood the problem is in the craving. We had to let go of that craving. When the craving has gone, tanaha has gone, then the raga and dvesha and moha has gone. In simple word, we can say that desire, aversion and ignorance has gone. Once it is gone, he is a sodapanna or a stream enterer. When it is completely gone, then he is an arhat. So when this desire, aversion and ignorance is gone, already nibbana is there. So that is called enlightenment. Now we understood that tanaha or the craving is the problem. Now let us go to the next suttas. Few bhikkhus came in front of the Buddha and asked him to give the Dhamma in brief so that they can understand and they can practice. So all this 84,000 sutta, the Buddha compressed into brief things, and in one sentence he advised the bhikkhus. So this is very important for us, because we need not to study all those things. We just study this brief statement, then we understood all the 84,000 suttas. So it all comes in Samyutta Nikaya 22, Khanda Samyutta. In this 22.63 to 22.70, this small brief instruction is given. So let us see one by one all these brief advices. In 22.63, the Buddha gave this advice, Dhamma in brief. When you grasp mendicant, you are bound by Mara. Not grasping, you are free. Ubadiyamano ko bhikkhu baddho marasa anubadiyamano mutto marasa. That means you cling to this 6 ayatanas or 6 sense doors or 5 khanda or 5 aggregates. Then you are bound by Mara or the evil one. So here the Mara means the unwholesome state, we can say. So when you don't cling to these 6 sense doors or 5 grasping aggregates, then you are free from Mara. Then you are free. Then you will be liberated. So that is the first thing. That means don't cling to anything. So normally where the clinging start? The clinging always start on the pleasant. So don't cling to the 6 sense doors or 5 khanda. Now we have to give more importance to 6 sense doors, because it is very easy to work in the 6 sense doors. The 5 aggregate is more subtle and very difficult to recognize. So let us leave this 5 aggregate and let us work only in the 6 sense doors. In the later stage, we can work on these 5 aggregates. Here the Buddha is giving this advice for 5 aggregate, but the same advice is also given for 6 sense doors. So we can interchange both, no problem. Then 22.64, Buddha said, when you conceive, you are bound by Mara. Not conceive, you are free from Mara. Conceive means whatever happening, that is all conception of our mind. It is a conceptual world. So whatever we perceive, it's all wrong thing we are perceiving. So the world is happening. So don't conceive. So don't perceive. So when pleasant things comes, don't think that it is pleasant. Just understand it is impermanent, suffering and non-self. So that is how we have to let go of this. The next is 22.65. It is very important. Here the Buddha says, Abhinandamano baddho marasa. Anabhinandamano mutto marasa. That means when you take pleasure, you are bound by the devil one. So we have to give this advice very important, because this is the very easiest one. When you take pleasure, then you are bound by Mara. When you don't take pleasure, then you are not bound by Mara. So where we have to take pleasure? We have to take pleasure in the six sense doors. If you are taking pleasure, then we are running away from Nibbana. Then 22.66. Yam ko bhikkhu anicham tatra te chando pahadabodhi. Bhikkhu, whatever there is impermanent, you have to let go your desire for that impermanent things. So whatever we experience the six sense doors is impermanent. So we have to let go of the desire. By this thing also we can become arhat. All this statement, if you are simply grasping this small advice and we are practicing, then we can go up to arhat strip. The next is yam ko bhikkhu anicham tatrade chando pahadabodhi. Bhikkhu, whatever is impermanent, you have to let go of your desire for that. The next is whatever is non-self, you have to let go of your desire for that. The next is whatever is tantalizing you, you have to let go of the desire for that. So these are the brief statement by the Buddha. That means whatever there, impermanent, suffering, non-self, whatever is pleasant, whatever tantalizing, we have to let go of our desire for that. So that is the straight path to arhatship. So here also the desire has come, the raga has come, because taking pleasure is a raga. Taking pleasure is whatever is tantalizing, it is raga. So we have to let go of the raga. So all of you know there are three types of defilement: raga or desire, dvesha or aversion, moha or ignorance. We have to let go of these three types of defilement. Everyone says like this, but the Buddha says you have to let go of only one, then you will get liberation. You need not to let go of three, but you just let go of one. In Khuddaka Nikaya, there is a book called Idivuttaka. In the Idivuttaka, first sutta is Lobha Sutta. In this sutta, the Buddha is telling that Egadhammam bhikkhave pajahada. Bhikkhave, give only one thing. Aham vo padibhago anagamitaya. I guarantee you non-returnership. Kadama egadhamma. What is that one dhamma? Lobham bhikkhave egadhammam pajahada. Bhikkhu, just let go of that desire or lobha or raga. If you let go of that, then I'll give you guarantee for anagami. That means you need not to let go of the three defilement. You need to let go of only one defilement, that is raga or desire or lobha. In the second sutta, the Buddha is telling that if you let go of only dosa or aversion, then I will guarantee you anagami. Then the third sutta, the Buddha is telling that if you let go of only moha or delusion, I will guarantee you anagami. That means here also we need to work only in one thing, that is raga, desire or lobha. All synonyms. So just work with the pleasant things, then you will become anagami or even arhat. Now again, let us try to do more practical. For that, we need to go to one sutta in Samyutta Nikaya 35.235, Aditya Pariyaya Sutta. In this sutta, the Buddha is telling the danger of sensual pleasures. The Buddha is telling that it is better if you mutilate your eye faculty with a red hot iron nail, burning, blazing, and glowing, than getting caught up in the features of the details in sight known by the eyes. For if you die at a time when your consciousness is still tied to gratification, the features of detail, it is possible you will go to one of two destinations, hell or the animal ram. I'll tell the essence in simple English. The Buddha is telling that it's better to burn your eyes with a red hot iron. When you see a sight with your eyes and you started enjoying it, and the consciousness is still tied to gratification, that is very important words. Nimittasada gattidam. That means your eye is enjoying that nimitta of that sight. That means your consciousness is tied to that gratification. That means you are enjoying the sight. At that time, if you die, then you'll get only two destination, either animal ram or the hell. Because at that time the raga is there, lobha is there, or the desire is there. So when you die at that time, you'll get this two destination. Same way with the other five sense doors. First we talked about eye, then next is nose, tongue, ear, body, mind. It is better to burn off all these six internal organs, but if you start enjoying there, then at that time, if death come, you'll get only two destinations. So the Buddha is telling about the danger of sensual pleasures here also. So we have to think about it repeatedly. So the Samma Sangappo, that is very important there, right thoughts. So it comes under the Panya or wisdom. Right view as well as right intention, both comes under wisdom. So right thought is very, very important, Samma Sangalpo. Because many people are not giving importance to this Samma Sangalpo at all. In the Girimananda Sutta, the Buddha talk about 10 perceptions. Anicca Sanya, Anatta Sanya, Viraga Sanya, Nirodha Sanya, Dukkha Sanya. So like that. In all these things, Buddha is asking monks to go to a forest or root of the tree or a cave, then Padisinjikadi. That means reflect about this Anicca, Dukkha and Anatta. Impermanent, suffering and non-self. We have to reflect. This word is very important. That is Samma Sangappo or right thought or right reflection is very important to get the panya or wisdom. So whenever we are enjoying a sense object with our six sense doors, then we have to think about this sutta 35.235 Aditya Pariyaya Sutta. It is better to burn our six sense doors than to enjoy it. That is the essence of this sutta. Now again for the next practical, we have to go to Sutta number Samyutta Nikaya 12.63 Puttamamsa Sutta. A child's flesh. This is very important sutta. In this sutta, four type of nutrient for the sentient being is mentioned, or four fuels for the sentient beings. Whatever beings are born, they have to take these four fuels or nutrients. The first one is edible food, whether solid or subtle. The next one is contact or phassa. The third one is mental intention or mano sanchayatana. And the fourth one is consciousness or vijnana. The first one, the edible food, is related with the body, and the next three things, phassa, mano sanchayatana or vijnana, these three things are related to mind. So we are not going to see these three things. But the Buddha says that if you understand about the contact, mental intention and consciousness fully, then you will become arhat. But if you understand fully about the edible food for the body, then you will become anagami. So how to practice this edible food? So all of we take 3 times or 4 times, 5 times food, and we also drink so many beverage. So at that time, how we have to do that? The Buddha is telling in this sutta. So whenever the monk eat, they chant Nevadamaya, Namadaya, Namandanaya, Nevibhushanaya. So like that they chant. That means I am eating this food only for survival of the body, not for taking pleasure or not to make myself fat or not to make my body attractive. I am just taking this food for my survival. That is the essence of that chanting. But people just chant, but they don't think. Here the Buddha is asking us to think before eating. So the Buddha is giving a simile. For example, one wife as well as husband, they are going in a desert with their only son. The Buddha is asking us to imagine this story. So they have limited quantity of food for crossing this desert. But in between what happens, they are having one son also. So husband, wife, as well as their son, they are going. But in between, the ration or the food was finished. Then the husband and wife, they talked to each other and they were telling, if we go like this without food, all three will die. So it is better we kill our sons and eat his flesh so that both of we can survive. Instead of dying all three, it is better to survive we two. So the husband and wife, they talked to each other and they decided to kill their only son. So they cried and killed their only son. And the meat, something they dried, and some with some meat they prepared food. So while crying, they were taking the food. They're crying, where are you, my son? Where have you gone? Like that, they are crying and they're taking the food. So Buddha is asking to the monk, while they were eating their son's flesh, would they eat that food for fun? Would they eat that food for indulgence or adornment or decoration or fattening their body or beautifying their body, or just for pleasure are they eating the food? The monk said, no, Bande. They are eating the food only for crossing the desert. So the Buddha said to them, you have to eat the food like that. You have to think that the food that you are eating is your son flesh. Then you will never relish the food or eat the food to make you fat. In that way, we have to eat. The Buddha is giving further assurance that when edible food is completely understood, desire of for the five kinds of sensual stimulation is completely understood. That means if you understand the food, then we can understand the five code of sensual pleasures and how the craving starts there. When the desire for the five kinds of sensual stimulation is completely understood, a noble disciple is bound by no fetters that might return them again to this world. That means the Buddha is telling that if you understand the food, then you understand the five sense doors and their craving. When you understand these five sense doors as well as the craving, then you will never return to this world. That means you have already become an anagami. Because the lust is not there. When the lust is not there, the hatred is also not there. The five lower fetter is already gone, then you have become an anagami. Now we understood almost all things. The sixth sense doors, there the problem start. Whatever pleasant and nice in the sixth sense doors, there the problem start. Actually, there is no fetter in the eye or no fetter in the form. The fetter comes in the mind. The Chandaraga, desire and lust for that sight in the mind, that is a fetter there. So we have to work there. So we should not enjoy these five sense door things. Now, all those people who are married, they'll be in confusion. The Buddha never tell you directly to stop enjoying these five sense doors. It is wrong way of the teaching. Instead, the Buddha tell you to teach in such a way that indulgence is the cause for fetter. So like that the Buddha is telling. So it is very difficult to understand this word. So the Buddha's instruction is never indulgence in sensual pleasures. That is the advice of the Buddha. To understand these very simple things, it took 30 years because I was working with Anapana, I was working with Satipatthana, I was working with walking meditation, I was working with metta meditation, I was working with jhana. But no one told me where to work. But after starting working the six sense doors, I really found improvement in my meditation. Earlier, when I complete 10 days retreat after coming back, only 5 or 6 days the effect will be there. After that, the effect is lost. Why? Because we are taking pressure in the sensation during that retreat. But when you came out, the sensation is gone, the pleasant sensation is gone, then you are worried. So you are attached to that sensation, pleasant things. That is a wrong way of practice. That I didn't understand. It took 30 years to understand this simple truth. I don't want you to suffer that much long. If you understand this simple truth, then you will progress in the path very quickly. The Buddha told that you will get Nibbana or enlightenment from 7 days to 7 years. How you will get? If you work in the right way, you will get. If you are working the wrong way, if you do 100 years also, you will not get Nibbana. So that is my mistake I did for almost 30 years. but I was blaming myself instead of the technique. I didn't understand the technique properly. What I did was always I used to sit and meditate. The Buddha told that you have to work in all situations. In the Satipatthana Sutta, there is Sambhajanya or Iriyapada. The Buddha is telling that you have to meditate in all four postures and all other postures. When you are walking, when you are sitting, when you are eating, when you are drinking, all that times you have to meditate. Where we have to meditate? We have to meditate in the six sense doors. We have to meditate. That we forget. And we just simply sit and meditate. But the problem with the sitting meditation is that when you get up, your meditation is gone. Because 2 hours in a day you are sitting and doing meditation, and the rest 22 hours you are engaging yourself in sensual pleasures. And how the progress will come? That was a problem I was facing. So you need to practice walking meditation as well as eating meditation, etc. For example, your mindfulness or sati is very weak. It is advisable that you should practice walking meditation. One of the benefit of this walking meditation is sati chirapaditido hodi. That means your mindfulness will be always there if you practice walking meditation. If your samadhi is not up to the standard, then you should practice metta meditation or brahma vihara. One of the result of this brahma vihara or the loving kindness meditation is your samadhi becomes stronger. Tuvadam chittam samadhi yadi. Immediately your mind will be concentrated. That is the result of loving kindness. So you have to practice that one. So whatever you are doing during sitting meditation, continue doing that. But when you get up, then you start working with the six sense doors. How to work with the six sense doors? For example, you see a sight with your eyes. Then immediately there will be a eye consciousness will be arising. So you know eye consciousness has arisen in you. But when the sight is gone, that eye consciousness is also gone. So you understand this eye consciousness is impermanent. And the moment you see a sight, then immediately there will be a craving or desire or lust will be arising in your mind. Then immediately you should understand this is the beginning of tanaha or craving. So you have to let go of that craving. So there is a practical instruction by the Buddha in Samyutta Nikaya 12.53. In that sutta, the Buddha is telling that asadanu passino vihardo tanaha pavadhati. That means when you enjoy the six doors, then tanaha pavadhati. That means the craving increases. Adinavanu passino viharado tanaha nirujjati. But when you understand the danger in that enjoyment, then your craving is gone. So what we need to do is that we have to contemplate the danger of that things. Contemplate the danger of that enjoyment. When you contemplate the danger, then automatically there will be no craving. The craving is already gone. So the importance of right thought is very important here. Samma Sangappu. Some people give lot of importance to sati or mindfulness. They say that if your mindfulness is good, then you will become arhat very soon. But they are not telling properly. The mindfulness can be two things. There are two type of mindfulness: yoniso manasikara, ayoniso manasikara. Yoniso manasikara means wise attention. Ayoniso manasikara means wrong attention. If you are mindful but with yoniso manasikara, wise attention, then your defilement will reduce. But if you are mindful with ayoniso manasikara or wrong attention, your defilement will increase. That we have to teach to the student. For example, when we are seeing a form with the eyes, then immediately the lust arises in the mind. So if you start enjoying, then our defilement will increase. The sati is there, but it is ayoniso manasikara. But when you see sight, then if there is wisdom, you will immediately understand this enjoyment of this sense pleasure is very dangerous. So you will contemplate about the danger, then you will come out of that. So that is called yoniso manasikara, wise attention. There is one more thing. If you are diligent, all the time, very, very diligent, then all your wholesome state will increase. But if you are not diligent, if you are ignorant, all unwholesome state will increase. That also we have to bear it in our mind. Now, what is our ultimate goal? We have to understand the destruction of desire, hatred, and delusion. The destruction of raga, dvesha, moha, that is our aim. That is called nibbana. If we become an arhat, then there is no desire, no aversion, and no ignorance. So that is our ultimate aim. That means in the six sense doors, there should not be any craving or ignorance or aversion. Everyone tell you that your virtue should be good, your shila should be good. How to identify a Sodapanna? The definition of Sodapanna is given in the Samyutta Nikaya, Sodapanna Samyutta. There the Buddha is telling that if anyone who is having experiential confidence in the Buddha, experiential confidence in the Dhamma, experiential confidence in the Sangha, and who is having virtues praised by the noble one, then you can say he is a stream enterer. He is a Sodapanna. So the virtue or Shila is very important. If our virtue or Shila is not good, then we have not achieved Nibbana. Everyone is asking you to observe the Shila or virtue. But how to observe the Shila, that no one is telling. The Buddha is giving a practice for that. And the practice name is Indriya Sambara or restraint of sense doors. For example, if you are seeing a sight with our eyes, there should not be lust or aversion in your mind. We have to control it. If there is lust, we have to tell our mind that lust should not be there. If there is aversion, we have to tell our mind that there should not be aversion. Like that in six doors, whatever we are smelling, eating, hearing, touching, or thinking. In these six sense doors, there should not be lust or aversion. Then we are practicing Indriya Sambara or sense restraints. So when we practice these sense restraints or Indriya Sambara, automatically three type of virtue of us will increase. The virtue of the body, the virtue of the speech, and the virtue of the mind. These three virtue will increase and it will be steadfast. So when our virtue is complete, then we are already a Sodapanna. Many people directly practice the four Satipatthana or six sense doors object, Sati, Samadhi, mindfulness, and Jhana, etc. The Buddha is telling that first we have to purify our virtue or Shila. Then only we should practice Samadhi or mindfulness, etc. Then only we can practice four Satipatthana. After practicing Satipatthana, we have to practice 7 enlightenment factors or Bojjhanga, then only we'll get Nibbana. So first and foremost is virtue or Shila. For that, we have to start with Indriya Sambara. There is a sutta how the Buddha trained his disciple. The sutta name is Ganagamugallana Sutta. In this sutta, the Buddha is telling how he trained a disciple. First, he asked the disciple to practice virtue or Shila, then Indriya Sambara, then Bojane Mattanyu, then Jagarigo, then Sambhajanya, then coming out of 5 defilement or Nivarana, then Sambhajanya, then Jhana. This is the progressive matter in which we should also practice. So Indriya Sambara is very good exercise that we have to do. Sense restraint, that is very important here. We should see only whatever we are supposed to see. Don't see any unwholesome things. Like that with the 6 other sense doors. So right thought is very important. Samma Sankalpo. We have to think why the chakku is anicca, chakku is dukkha. So like that, why the eye is suffering, why the eye is dukkha, why the eye is anatta or non-self. So we have to think, keep on thinking. Thinking is very important. But not while we are sitting, but other time we have to think and we have to understand it. So that is why in the Girimananda Sutta, 10 perception, almost in 9, the Buddha is asking him to reflect. Padisanchikadi. We have to keep on reflecting about the impermanence, dukkha, and anatta, like that. In Sutta number 35.19, the Buddha is telling Samyutta Nikaya, Yo chakkum abhinandadi, so dukkham abhinandadi. Whoever seeking delight in the eye, he is seeking delight in the suffering only. Same way in the six doors. If someone is taking delight in the smell or taste or sound or touch or thoughts, then he is taking delight in the suffering only. Because that pleasant things will always change to unpleasant thing, then automatically will be miserable. So don't take delight in any five sense doors or six sense doors. Then in Samyutta Nikaya 12.53 it is told, Asadana passino viharado tanaha pavadhadi. Whoever is taking delight, his craving increases. Adinavanu passino viharado tanaha nirijjadi. Whoever seeing danger, then his craving will finish. So instead of enjoying, you have to always think about the danger in the six sense doors. That is the way to the Nibbana. There is a story with the Buddha also. 6 years he did so many difficult meditations, and after that he didn't get Nibbana. Then he thought that he should try to find out some other way. Then three simile occurred to Buddha. That is very important things. These three thoughts came to his mind. For example, one wet wood is lying in the pond full of water. So if you try to light that wood, there will be no fire. Again, we take that wet wood and put it in a dry ground. If you try to light a fire, again that wood will not catch fire. But if you keep a dry wood in the dry land, and if you try to light that dry wood, it will be easy to light a fire. So Buddha is telling, in the first simile, there is lust in your body as well as lust in your mind. You are taking pleasure both with the body as well as mind. All the five sensual pleasures you are taking, you are just like a wet wood that is lying in the water. There will be no fire. In the second case, the wet wood is on the dry land. That means a person is not enjoying sensual pleasures with his body. He is in a retreat. Still in his mind there is desire for sensual desires. So that is just like a wet wood on a dry ground. There will be no fire. In the third one, a person is in a retreat, is refrain from his body as well as mind, all the sensual pleasures, then he is just like a dry wood, easily fire can be lighted. So this simile is also giving the same thing. If you are sensual pleasures with your body as well as mind, there is no way to get the liberation. So this is the teaching of the Buddha. It took 30 years for me to understand it. After repeatedly reading all these things, still I didn't understand. So when you sit, whatever meditation you are practicing, you can practice in the sitting meditation. And when you walk, then you have to work with the six sense doors. You have to distinguish between six sense doors. And if you start enjoying any sensual pleasures, immediately you have to be aware that you are going the wrong way. You need to contemplate about the danger. Then you will come out of that craving. That is the way to the Nibbana. Again, you can do many things. You can study Sutta Pitaka, Diga Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Khuddaka Nikaya, and make small notes so that you can understand the essence of the teaching. That is the first step. And the next step, go for a silent retreat, then study the suttas along with your retreat. Daily read one or two sutta, then keep on reflecting about the sutta. For example, the Buddha is telling that the eye is anicca or impermanent, the sight is anicca, the eye consciousness is anicca, the eye contact is anicca, and the feeling born of eye contact, three feeling, that is also anicca. So we have to understand with our experience and we have to contemplate how this anicca, because we are seeing it is a permanent thing, but why it is anicca, we have to contemplate. As you contemplate, automatically the wisdom will come and you will get Nibbana. So, Samma Sankalpo, right thought is very, very important here. You have to keep on reflecting about the things, then only you'll get Nibbana. Many people, they are addicted to only the sensation. The Buddha is telling about the sensation. It is a disease, it is a dart, it is an affliction, it is a tumor, it is an alien. The Buddha is telling many things about the sensation, and people are they are attracted to the sensation. So it is a wrong path. You should not take delight in the sensation. The moment you start taking delight, you are running in the opposite direction. That you have to understand. In the Vedana Samyutta, the Buddha is talking about three type of Vedana or sensation: pleasant sensation, painful sensation, and neutral sensation. And the Buddha is always telling that you have to see the pleasant sensation as painful. Never see the pleasant sensation as pleasant sensation. Instead of that, you have to think that the pleasant sensation is always painful. And painful sensation, you have to think it is a dart. And neutral sensation, you have to think it is changing. So this is the way to deal with the three type of sensation. That also you should understand. So always understand Chakkum Abhinandadi, Dukkam so Abhinandadi. If you take delight in the eyes, you are taking delight in the suffering. So if you are taking delight in the six doors, then you are taking delight in the suffering only. Now one more question may be coming. Should we practice the meditation in the six sense doors or five aggregate? It is better to start with the six sense doors because five aggregate is very subtle. So we need to work with the five aggregate initially. Six sense doors is very gross and is very easy to work. So start working with the six sense doors. After getting enlightened, then you can work with the five aggregate for getting higher result. So always work with the six sense doors when you are walking, sitting, eating, drinking, etc. Don't take pleasure. The moment pleasure comes, contemplate about the danger. This is the secret of your success. Now there are many ways told by the Buddha. In one time, Buddha is telling that you have to work with the eightfold path, you will become Arhat. For Satipatthana, you will become Arhat. 7 enlightenment factors, you will become Arhat. Just practice Anapanasati, you will be Arhat. Just practice Brahma Vihara, you will be Arhat. Just practice 8 jhana, you will be Arhat. But please understand, all these things are included in the eightfold path. All these things are included in the Four Noble Truths. For example, for Satipatthana, it is there in the Samma Sati. 8 jhana, it is already in the Samma Samadhi. 7 enlightenment factors, it is also there in the Samadhi. For Satipatthana, it is there in the Samadhi. For right effort, it is there in the Samma Vayamo. So please don't be confused by all these things. Just pick up only one thing, 6 sense doors, and work with this pleasant things. Don't enjoy the sensual pleasures. That is the aim of our practice. Contemplate impermanence, contemplate suffering, contemplate non-self. Asadhanupassino viharado tanha pavathadi. When you enjoy, then your craving will increase. Adinavanupassino viharadi tanha nirujjadi. When you contemplate about the danger, your craving will subside. So this always you have to think. Then you will be only progressing. Slowly you will reach your goal. I hope that I have covered almost all these things. I hope that you will be practicing the right way. And may you all get Nibbana. Thank you very much for listening to this video. Whatever is there, your comment, please write your comment. If you don't disagree with me, please write your comment also. If you are agreeing with me, then also write your comment. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends, Dhamma friends. Thank you very much.